Ghost Recon Wildlands is a game I've put over 250 plus hours into, and that's 99% solo play. My passion for this game goes beyond most, and yes, I may not be a veteran of the franchise, but I do have memories of playing Ghost Recon 2 on my original Xbox. When Ghost Recon Wildlands was revealed in E3 2015, I had no interest in it at all. Hell, I had no interest in the game until the closed beta that was held about a month before release. I saw all the hype behind the game and said, screw it, I'll just pre-order the game, get a beta key, and if I don't like it, I'll just cancel it. Well, I played and completely fell in love with the gameplay loop. And the tactical style of the game, all of it. It just fit together. The first time I attacked the Santa Blanca stronghold, I felt like it was the game I've been wanting for years. An open-world military third-person shooter. Something that gives free reign on how and when to complete my objectives. I almost had that with Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid 5, but to me, all that supernatural stuff made me feel way out of place. Made me feel like, yes, it has that sense of tactical stealth, but when the flaming guy on a horse comes running at me, it kind of breaks my immersion. Wildlands to me was my favorite parts of Metal Gear Solid 5, without the flaming unicorns and flying whales. And yeah, that's not an exaggeration. That stuff was in Metal Gear Solid 5. My favorite memory of Wildlands is flying over an outpost in the first region of the game with a helicopter, bailing out with my AI squad mates in full ghillie suit kit, landing on a mountainside overlooking the outpost, and slowly picking off each Sicario with my suppressed sniper, sync-shotting the groups of 4 and clearing the whole base within a matter of minutes. That small glimpse into Wildlands is what drove me to immediately drive to my local GameStop, cancel my pre-order of the Standard Edition, and as quick as possible, pre-order that $220 Big Boy Ghost Edition. Yeah, man, that beta hit me with the love bug a little hard. But I believe with 250 plus hours in the game, I think I got every dollar's worth. So again, yes, Wildland holds a place near and dear to my heart. Anyways, enough of my fanatical nonsense, onto the game itself. Here is Ghost Recon Wildlands. Wildlands was developed by Ubisoft Paris alongside several other studios, and it was shown off at E3 2015. The E3 trailer shows pre-alpha gameplay set to the Imagine Dragons song's Friction. It goes through 3 different scenarios on how to take out a target known as White Hat. Option 1 is the long range option. Option 2 is full stealth a la Splinter Cell. And finally, option 3 is Chaos, where the Ghost Squad do a full frontal assault on the compound, steal White Hat's cocaine supply, and leave him to the Wolves, aka his boss. We would later learn to be named El Sueño. If you haven't seen the trailer, I'll try to link into the description below. Now, like almost all Ubisoft games, pre-alpha footage looks 10 times better than the final product. From the foliage and the colors of the world to the dynamic crowds and population of the Bolivian people, it's just not there in the base game. Even on PC with all the settings turned way the hell up, it just doesn't exist. But the gameplay of the options and the choice, it's all there. That stayed, and that's the best thing about it. When you start up the main story of Wildlands, we see a helicopter flying into Bolivia on a dark and rainy night. It then cuts to the player character Nomad asking another character, "Guess you've been down here a while." She responds with, "I've been living as Karen Bowman, international aid worker, for about 5 years. It means living rough, but as a cover, gets me out and about." Right here is when we see that our so-called Karen Bowman is a deep cover CIA agent, and that means that she's seen and done a lot of shady stuff. Next, we see 3 ghosts chit-chatting about how they got into country. One says he flew in on a plane all comfy-like, that's Midas. The next guy says he hitched a ride from Peru, this is Weaver. And the last guy says he got on a bus in Argentina, got drunk, and fell asleep. He says no one wants to mess with a drunk on a bus. That's my guy Holt. As we get introduced to the Ghost Squad, Bowman says she heard rumors about the Ghost Squad, and that she was in Moscow when the coup went down. And that maybe the ghost had something to do with it? The team looks at each other, and Nomad speaks up and says, "Nah, must have been someone else. We were never there." Bowman then responds with, "Not every day you meet a legend in the flesh." And then Nomad says, "Huh, you should tell it to my kid. Then maybe he'd listen when I tell him to take out the trash." This small dialogue, to me, shows that the ghosts are what we call quiet professionals. The types of guys who will get dirty, get the job done, no matter the cost or sacrifice. And when it's all said and done, never speak of it again. These types of men live in our world. These type of men exist. But we hardly hear of them. Why? Well, because it's in the title. They're quiet professionals. Although we can clearly see that, We also see that Nomad is still human. I included the part where he talks about his son because it shows us that even the toughest killers in the world still have a life beyond the sight of a rifle. That even though Nomad has done some shit, when he gets home, it all has to go away, and it hardly matters. Soldiers will be soldiers at war. But what about when they get home? What happens then? Does the pile of bodies go away, and they're expected just to conform to society? Hell, Nomad can't even get his kid to take out the trash. But he can lead a squad of trained killers to take down and overthrow a government run by a narco state. The game doesn't tackle a lot of serious situations. Wildlands is more of a spectacle, open-world sandbox in form of a militarized GTA. But when I heard this bit, it reminded me that our heroes in multicam not only struggle in real-life battlefields, but they struggle in the battlefields at home too. Off that little serious tangent, I went on and onto the game. Bowman briefs us as to what we can expect from the mission, and what we can expect from El Sueño. She says we aren't prepared for who he is and what he's done. Then we hear the name of the overarching main mission, Operation Kingslayer. From this, we land the chopper and meet up with one of the leaders of the rebel group, Pac Katari. Pac is the charismatic leader of the Qataris 26, one of the 3 factions in the game, and we'll talk about the other 2 factions in a little bit. But Pac immediately dismisses the ghost and says he asked for an army, and all they send is 4 soldiers. Bowman assures him that that's all they need. Pac then tells us that Santa Blanca has captured a man named Amaru. He is the co-founder of the Qataris 26, and the brains of the group. Pac tells us if we go get him, it would help show him that the 4 ghosts is enough to overthrow Santa Blanca. And then, there it is, the title of the game, Ghost Recon Wildlands. After releasing us from the first cutscene of the game, we start on top of a mountain with one objective: find intel on the whereabouts of Amaru. Now, for me, I love customizing my squad before I start, so I immediately hop into the character customization and start playing good old G.I. Joe dress up. I first change the kit, all the way from my plate carrier, helmet, headphones, you name it, they got it. Now, this is purely cosmetic only, which is kind of a bummer considering you can equip a full-on ghillie suit and it doesn't give you no coverage or tactical advantage whatsoever, besides looking like a bush with legs. But it's still fun to kit out your squad in any standard military uniform or non-standard. You can have a group of US Marines, or maybe you want a squad of Canadian Special Forces. Just check out the Ghost Recon subreddit and you'll find a bunch of cool outfits to put together. Squad customization was not always there from the beginning, and it was added post-launch, but it was super well regarded by the community, and it's just straight up awesome. So, after kit customization comes the gunsmith. When you first start out playing the base game, you don't start with much. I believe it's only a primary rifle, a secondary SMG, and a secondary pistol. To add to your arsenal, you scavenge weapons from crates scattered across the huge map. And it's cool because the game shows you what guns are not unlocked yet, and it tells you what region and approximate location as where to find it. So, if you're so inclined to find that AK-47 right off the bat, as soon as you start the game, you can look it up, find the region that it's in, head there straight away, equip it, and you're set for the missions ahead. I do personally think that this version of the gunsmith is better than the gunsmith in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, only because there's so many options. Almost any weapon sight can go on any rifle, save for some sniper scopes, and pretty much any underbarrel can go on any SMG, LMG, long rifle, anything. It's more of a free-flowing system that lets you create whatever you want. However, the guns don't differ from one another very much, the attachments only giving slight buffs to weapon sway and accuracy. But I digress. It's still cool to have a G36C all kitted out any way I like. Anyway, now that we're done customizing our character, we are set to find intel on Amaru's location. The game guides us to a cartel member who gives us the info pretty easy considering I have a gun to his head. Amaru is located on our farm not far away from where we are, so we set out to extract and bring him back to Pac Katari. We get to the farm, and after systematically taking out all the Sicarios, we find him in a jail cell of sorts. Free him and get him aboard a nearby helicopter. Extract him to the hideout where Bowman and Pac Katari are, but when we arrive, Amaru tells us that he's been tortured by 2 disgusting individuals by the name of Yuri and Polito. Here are the first set of underbosses we need to take out in order to dismantle the security section of El Sueño's massive cartel, in which there are 4. Security, as stated before, influence, smuggling, and production. All cogs in the Santa Blanca machine, fueling El Sueño's rise to power over the Bolivian people and government. Yuri and Polito are lovers. Lovers who fell in love doing what they love to do. That's torture. They are the ones responsible for the death of Ricky Sandoval, another CIA operative and a close friend of Bowman, who was killed while going undercover trying to see how El Sueño operates his cartel. He was made and ended up being tortured to death by Yuri Polito and El Sueño himself. So, for Bowman, Operation Kingslayer isn't just another op. It's personal. She wants Yuri and Polito dead, and she wants it done yesterday. She basically says the Ghost Squad has free reign as to how we find and kill them. We are inclined to turn over every rock, knock over every building, till we find these sick bastards. Finally, the second cutscene ends, and here we are, ladies and gentlemen. This is where the game finally opens up and allows us to play any way we want. We first start off in the province of Itaqua. This serves as a small tutorial province and shows us the ropes on how the main gameplay loop and what side objectives we can do. It gives the player 6 main missions, one of which is a mission that has you defending a radio broadcast of Pacatari, telling the people of Bolivia to rise up and take arms against Santa Blanca. The player has to defend the broadcast for about 2 minutes, while Santa Blanca forces try to destroy the broadcast tower. The mission here is actually a side mission for the rest of the game. The side missions in the game, if we choose to do them, will give us support abilities from the rebels. As in, if we do another mission defending another broadcast station, we're going to get the ability to call in mortar support. And the more we do it, the bigger the mortar support will become. Or if we find care packages hidden in the world in hard to reach places, we can get intel scans on the environment, marking enemies around us. And the more we do these side missions, the better the support becomes. So if we keep finding those care packages that are hidden, the intel scans are going to be a little bit larger every single time. Like I said, you don't have to do them, but they will give a big advantage. Other than the side activities, we have the true story missions of the game. The first one I'm going to talk about is a mission called Armadillo's Commander. It's where the Ghost Squad must find an Unidad commander who has contact with Yuri and Polito and find their location by interrogating him. We find him in a heavily guarded Unidad base, and he's in the main tower on a phone call. We gotta get the guy, so there's 2 options, stealth and chaos. Here's actually some gameplay footage of the stealth option. If you want to watch all the way through it, go right ahead. If you don't, I'll put a little timestamp so you can skip ahead so you don't have to watch this about 6-minute gameplay footage. So, here you go.
Sniper up in the tower. Okay, this is the Unidad firebase. We're looking for the captain who's in contact with Yuri and Polito. We need the target alive.
Roger that. Well.
Sniper, top of the tower. Here we go.
Got it. Eyes on the Unidad captain.
The drone is up. Got eyes on the Tango. He's got a lot of background. I got another. That's 5. Marking a hostile. He's close to some locals.
They don't like the dark too much.
Quédate quieto.
What the hell is this?
How's it going, fuckstick?
Pendejos. You are dead.
Mierda. You may as well kill me now. I'm not talking, carajo.
Well, that's your choice. But with a pair of sick fucks like Yuri and Polito, one day that might be you hanging from their ceiling. You can't trust them. It would be a relief if I took them out of your life.
Look, I'm not a snitch, but let's just say, yeah, they freak me out. The thing is, they're not even in Itaqua.
So call them back to Itaqua. Tell them you've got a package ready.
Oye, Polito. I got a lamb ready for delivery. Un borrego. Vale.
I'll drive.
So, as you can see, this is the way I like to play, ghosting my way through and leaving a little distraction before I leave. But again, here's option 2, it's chaos. And again, if you don't want to watch it all the way through, I'll leave a little timestamp below so you can go ahead and skip on through it. Here you go.
Okay, this is the Unidad firebase. We're looking for the captain who's in contact with Yuri and Polito. We need the target alive.
Roger that. Well,
Ready? Open fire.
copy that. Opening fire. Looks like we've riled them up.
Se han detectado disparos. Tirador desconocido. Permanecer alertas.
Sniper.
Shitballs.
Avisamos que los refuerzos únanse a ellas y...
Frag out.
Grenade!
se enfrentan a
Grenade, get to cover.
Los refuerzos ya están en camino.
Sniper, down, down.
Coopere todo
What
saldrá
the hell
bien.
is this?
How's it going, fuckstick?
Pendejos. You are dead.
No hay señales de enemigos por aquí. Continúen la búsqueda. Perdimos contacto con el enemigo. Salgan del servicio.
All right, fuck. Mierda. You may as well kill me now. I'm not talking, carajo.
Well, that's your choice. But with a pair of sick fucks like Yuri and Polito, one day that might be you hanging from their ceiling. You can't trust them. It would be a relief if I took them out of your life.
Look, I'm not a snitch, but let's just say, yeah, they freak me out. The thing is, they're not even in Itaqua.
So call them back to Itaqua. Tell them you've got a package ready.
Oye, Polito. I got a lamb ready for delivery. Un borrego. Vale.
Now that we've seen the multiple ways to complete objectives, I'd like to go back and talk about Unidad. Unidad acts as a form of a police for Wildlands. They even have a star system kind of like GTA. The more outlandish mayhem that you cause, the more forces they'll send, starting with trucks filled with a squad of soldiers, to the top tier being an Apache helicopter raining down rockets on you. Like most things in Bolivia, Unidad is corrupt as hell. Sometimes you can even see a few Unidad soldiers brokering deals with Santa Blanca members around the world. And as for Santa Blanca goes, well, they're the whole reason we're here. Santa Blanca is El Sueño's army of sorts. You can akin them to a fictionalized version of the real-world cartel. The similarities are abundant, from the face tattoos to the way they speak and the armory they have. Santa Blanca ain't messing around here. In the first region, most of them are just low-level sicarios looking for something to prove. They walk around talking to themselves and one another, saying how shitty the job is and how they think they're all top shit. My favorite line you can hear sometimes is when one of them is all by themselves and they start singing a little tune that goes something like Santa, Santa, Santa Blanca. I don't know why. Every time I hear it, I just chuckle a little bit. But now that we're all informed as to all the factions in the game and how each one operates, we can move on to the bosses. There are a total of 28 bosses in Wildlands, and almost all regions have a boss associated with it, save for 2. We have Yuri and Polito, the boss of the region we're currently in, and then they have a boss above them. These guys are the head honchos of the operation and serve directly under El Sueño. We can only get to them once we have taken out all the bosses in that operation. After we do that, we get to take one mission to take out one of those underbosses, of which there are 4. Each one is unique, and with his or her own personality and traits. After taking out 2 of the head bosses, the ability to go after El Sueño arises. And you can totally go for it and finish the game there and then, but canonically, that's not the true ending of the game. To get to the true ending, we must completely destroy all of Sueño's operations and underbosses. Now, to do so for sure is a 50 to 40 plus hour endeavor. So I wouldn't blame anyone if they decided to end the game a little early, but man, I feel like you're missing out big time. We have 28 different regions in this game, and each one is unique in some form or another. We have the province of Inca Camina, which is a snowy mountain range. We have Conai, which is desert salt flatlands, and one of my personal favorites is the region of Espiritu Santo. That has a dense jungle and even a small city in the center. I feel that to get the real sense of what Wildlands is, you must visit most, if not all, the provinces just to explore and see what's out there. Run around dismantling a narco state while you're at it. So, after all said and done, Ubisoft Paris released a few free in-game events to Wildlands. The first one I'm going to talk about is Operation Watchman, a joint op with classic Tom Clancy character Sam Fisher, with Michael Ironside reprising his role for the first time since Splinter Cell Conviction. A whole 8 years since last putting on the goggles and sneaking through the shadows. It's good to have him back. Operation Watchman sees Fisher deployed to Bolivia in order to recover sensitive intelligence from a rogue CIA officer. Fisher's deployment takes him to a Unidad base in La Cruz, where he infiltrates the base ahead of the Ghost team and assassinates the rogue agent prior to their arrival. Upon greeting Nomad, Fisher hacks into the Unidad servers in order to erase all traces of sensitive information from Skeltec, while Nomad's team provides backup. While exfiltrating from the base, Fisher reveals that the intelligence is data on sensitive research and the development that could change the future of warfare. At the time, we had no idea what Skeltec was, and we just thought it was a cool way to see one of our beloved characters, Sam Fisher, come back. Little did we know that it was the beginning of the setup for the sequel, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Another operation was Operation Archangel, which featured characters from the Rainbow Six Siege franchise. It mainly focuses on the story of Caveira and how she's trying to protect her brother because he's gotten into some hot water with Santa Blanca. And now she's come to Bolivia to protect him, and she's on a warpath, finding and killing every Sicario that comes in her way. It also features the operators Twitch and Valkyrie. This operation was cool because it's the second time a collaboration between Clancy franchises has occurred in Wildlands, and that's just the start. Next up, we got Operation Silent Spade. This one focuses on Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mitchell, a fan favorite character from Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter series. It also provides a cameo from Ghost Recon Future Soldier, John Kozak. This operation features the Ghost Squad getting called upon by their commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mitchell, to be reassigned for a brief moment from Operation Kingslayer to do a set of missions for him taking place in Bolivia. It includes the Ghost Squad being put together with John Kozak, his call sign being Baby Brother, to stop Russian ultranationalists taking weapons-grade uranium that they have been mining in Bolivia in collaboration with Santa Blanca forces. After stopping the Russians from getting out of country, they find out that not all the uranium is accounted for, and that Santa Blanca has created a dirty bomb, and it's set it in the middle of a city that has kind of aligned itself with the Qataris 26 rebels. The mission is an awesome way to bring back beloved characters and show that Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter and Future Soldier are still both canon in the eyes of Ubisoft Paris. Second to last operation is kind of a weird one, and it's simply named Predator. This one was all about the badass human-hunting alien simply known as the Predator. It also came along with a classic pack you could buy in the in-game store, featuring weapons and gear seen in the 1987 film. This operation is obviously filled with a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor, and is not meant to be taken seriously. Although, in the next game, we'd go on to see the Terminator make an appearance in Breakpoint, so take that for what you will. The final operation that was released only a few months before the game's successor Breakpoint is called Operation Oracle. This operation is just set up for the next game and featured the next game's big bad guy John Bernthal, also known as Cole D. Walker. It starts with Bowman assigning the Ghost a mission to infiltrate a Unidad base to recover an engineer. But when the Ghosts get there, all they find is dead bodies. Dead Unidad soldiers. Everywhere. This definitely doesn't look like the work of Santa Blanca either. We get all the way there, to the end of the base, and we find Walker interrogating our guy. We want to extract him, and Walker wants answers. As we're exiting the base, we see that Unidad is reverse engineering Scale-Tech drones, and that our guy is the one selling them the information on how to do it. Our asset is Daniel Rodriguez, and he's a former Scale-Tech engineer. Walker tells us that since Bowman is a CIA agent, he doesn't trust her, and that she seems a little shady that she sent us on this mission. The Ghost Squad and Walker fight their way out of the base, and continue on to a local safe house where they release Daniel, and then proceed to tail him, listening in on his calls. The Ghosts find out that Daniel is actually a CIA asset. He has been compromised, and Unidad is threatening his family's life. Walker soon sets up a meet at the airfield where he shows Nomad the bodies of his team, who were killed by drones that Daniel had gave Unidad the information to build. So he kind of personally takes Bowman as the responsible person for their deaths. Walker and Nomad go to a meeting between Bowman and Daniel, but find Unidad have captured Bowman and are holding Daniel. After killing all the Unidad around Daniel, we question him and find out that he sold Bowman out to protect his family. Walker then shoots him dead. After regrouping, they find Bowman's location and extract her from Unidad. After the extraction, we find out that Bowman was actually Daniel's handler and that he was a part of a long-running CIA operation, but she didn't know what the op was exactly. Walker then tells her if he finds out that she had anything to do with their deaths of his men, he would find her and he would kill her. The Ghost Squad say she can be trusted, but Walker still shows little faith that that is true. So, the whole final operation sets up Breakpoint, which is another video for another day. Ubisoft Paris provided 5 free operations with a bunch of paid cosmetic DLC. This all took place during Year 2 Content Pass that Ubisoft had set up. Year 1 was, well, in my opinion, a little less exciting. It included early access to PvP characters, of which I never even touched, and 2 big DLC expansions called Narco Road and Fallen Ghost. I would be going in more depth with those, but this whole overview is getting to be about 10 pages and over 5,000 words, so I might make that a whole nother video. Needless to say, Ghost Recon Wildlands has added a lot of post-content since launch, from paid cosmetic DLC to free operations and just basic updates like photo mode and game modes like Ghost Mode and even a small 8-person Battle Royale-like mode called Mercenaries. If you hop on Wildlands today, you'll have so much content at your fingertips, it's not even funny. So much to explore and do, anything is possible, and the options to carve out your own path are endless. That's what makes Wildlands so special to me. The total replay value and ability to tackle any mission and any boss at any time, it feels like I'm the maestro of this symphony of chaos and I'm ready to play to my heart's content. I don't want to walk you through the rest of my playthrough or how exactly I dismantled El Sueño's whole operation because that's for you to decide. That's for you to create and play. A story all to your own. I can tell you that at times the gameplay loop of driving or flying into a new region, finding the mission intel, and completing the missions can sometimes be repetitive, but hey, it's an Ubisoft game. That's kind of what it's all about. Wildlands to me was an experience that I think all should at least try, even if you're remotely into the tactical shooter genre. It's a game that gives you the tools to complete the objectives and says, go for it, kid. I've been around the Ghost Recon community for a long time, and I see on a daily basis that us fans have a passion for the franchise like no other. That Ghost Recon is important to us, and we just want to see it thrive. Ghost Recon Wildlands sold really well enough to make a sequel, that in which was a very divisive subject, that I might be making another video on here in the future. But all in all, Wildlands is a fan favorite Ghost Recon game. And although it may not be what classic Ghost Recon used to be, it still is a special game in my eyes, and in a few others too. and one that I hope others can look back on one day and say, hey, this game was kind of special. So, that was my deep dive overview into Ghost Recon Wildlands. If I didn't cover everything you wanted me to cover, I'm sorry. Put it in the comments and we can chit chat about it however you want. But I do want to say thank you guys for watching. And if you'd like to see more content discussing Ghost Recon or any other game franchise, feel free to comment down below. I will respond to every single comment. And I really do hope that I earn the right to call you a subscriber. Again, thank you for watching. And look out for new content on the horizon. I'll see you guys next time. Stay frosty, Ghosts.
Shitballs.